In order for the things that happen not to have happened and not to happen in 2027, and this I'm addressing to Ndegwa Njiru and others from the opposition, you must learn to be more serious than you have been so far. This election went the way it went, and it was not a surprise. If you live in this country, you would have known this election was going to go in that way. What did you do to ensure the election didn't go the way it went? What are you learning from this by-election so that we save our country as we move to 2027? The opposition is complacent. The opposition is guilty as charged. And if legacy politicians, if you are unable to face Ruto, please yield. Let another set of leaders who are not legacy politicians take over. I say this all the time, that we must put country first. I don't expect people to love this country the way some of us love it, but I keep saying, love this country even just a little. At the end of the day, it's about your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. I say this all the time. I say what is happening across Europe, in America, the rise of nationalism, the immigration crisis, the corona scare, where we were all to stay where we were without moving. That all these things point to one thing, that make your home habitable. You may find you are in a situation where you can't go to any other country. Corona has shown us the rise of nationalism in Europe and America, what Trump is doing, what's going on in the UK now, what's going on in France and has been going on, tells you, please, you only have one home, which is called Kenya. With this now in mind, I must point out that what happened during these by-elections is, to me, really scary. It scares me because we are pushing the people of this country to a point where they will come to the conclusion, if they haven't yet, that it does not make sense to take part in an election. Now, if you think that's idle, look at the people who voted in 2017, 2013, 2022. Look at the numbers. Are they going up? Why are we saying young men are not registering? Why would they register? So what happened during this by-election is, to me, something really sad. And nobody should rejoice when these kind of things happen. We live in this country, and this is our country. We don't have another country. Only a handful of people will take planes and fly to Australia. But like I've already said, that may also not be very possible. You may never know. So let's have this country as a going concern. We didn't have elections. That was something you need to look into the English dictionary to find the word. Elections as envisaged in Article 81, that we did not have. We saw a government going out of its way to do the things it did in broad daylight. Even children are wondering what is happening. So if we do not take care, we're going to push people of this country into believing that you cannot have civil change. Civil change to mean that an election cannot produce what the will of the people want produced. And this is dangerous for any country. I've listened to my friends on this platform. People I really respect, and I respectfully urge them. When I look at my age, I look at Fred's age, I think it's obvious, you don't need to be a genius, that Fred, you need this country more than me. The only way I say I need it is because I have children and grandchildren. But as individuals, you need this country more than I do. You cannot celebrate what happened in Malava. You cannot celebrate what happened in Mbeere North. If you live in this country, and you must learn to love your country. Do not speak for people so that you may please them, yet you are jeopardizing the future of your own children. I want to rest there and say this. I produce a letter to the president today. So what I'm saying is not something I'm saying in private. I produced a video addressed to the president, and I said this. If there is anybody in this country, both in the opposition and in the government, who think they can reproduce Malava in 2027, they are joking, they are daydreaming, and they are pushing the country into a very dangerous mode. Having said that, as I wind up the bar, there's somebody talking, I don't know. Having said that, and as I wind up, I must say this. In order for the things that happen not to have happened and not to happen in 2027, and this I'm addressing to Ndegwa Njiru and others from the opposition, you must learn to be more serious than you have been so far. This election went the way it went, and it was not a surprise. If you live in this country, you would have known this election was going to go in that way. What did you do to ensure the election didn't go the way it went? What are you learning from this by-election so that we save our country as we move to 2027? The opposition is complacent. The opposition is guilty as charged. And if legacy politicians, where Ndegwa Njiru sits, if you are unable to face Ruto, please yield. Let another set of leaders who are not legacy politicians take over. Because people respect all the politicians. Young people, young politicians in this country, they respect Kalonzo, they respect Rigathi Gachagua, they respect all of them, and they expect them to take on Ruto. They cannot take on Ruto if they go the way they are going. Even Mbere, with the rigging, and I hope Ndegwa Njiru is listening so that he passes this information. Even with all the rigging, the opposition will still have one Mbere. But you are approaching this election with emotions. And you are facing somebody like Ruto. You know, I was giving the analogy of the example of Muhammad Ali. If you went to the ring against Muhammad Ali, surely, those of us who, on this platform who are there, and he would say, I'm young, I'm the fastest, I'm handsome, the most handsome. Or you are facing Mike Tyson, the baddest guy. Surely you don't walk into a ring the way you people walked in this election. You take emotions into an election. What was the point of even giving DP that seat in that ticket in Mbere? That is sentimental. That is emotion. There's no time for such, because DCP is a brand. DCP would have won that seat, even with all the shenanigans, with all the rigging, with all the bribery and the force being used, they would have won. So going forward, and in the interest of this country, we need a serious opposition. A serious opposition. I am surprised even now, Ndegwa Njiru again tell them, you have not had a crisis meeting to look at these by-elections and assure the people of Kenya that not all is lost, that you are still on top of things. I want to yield, but point out to my friend Fred and the rest, please, there's time for politics. But when you sense danger like I'm sensing it, please, don't play politics with the future of your children.